Hello, everybody. Today, we're going to be starting on, got page 8 done. Whoops. If I haven't broken this app. Page 8 is done. And wait till it loads here. But I've drawn some roughs for page 9, but while this loads, here's my roughs for page 9. While this very slowly loads. There's page 9, and I'm still working some details out. In fact, I think I might, like one good idea when you have a foreground, mid-ground shot like this is take your foreground and go a little bit bigger. And I think we can get away with that. Right there. And we'll just get rid of all this extra stuff in the other panels. So, same thing with these eyes. I can go a little bit bigger. So I'm still working out sort of compositional things. Which brings me to this comic I just got in the mail. This is from Dale A. Dale A has done 5 of the 9-volt anthologies. He's contributed to them. Number of things. This is his website. Let me put it up here. Theinstallation.com. Definitely go check it out. Theinstallation.com. I don't know for sure, but I think if you sign up for his mailing list, he'll send you this comic for free, and it's a pretty substantial comic. I think this is at least 32 pages. By Dale A. It's got a map on the inside cover. It's got like a little dramatis personae on the back cover. It's one story, but it's kind of got 3 parts to the story. So like in the initial, we have Sir Bartholomew coming to his new holdings. He stops some bandits in a pretty cool encounter. He deals with some nuns, and then he does encounter some giants. So I would say it's not exactly fantasy, but it's got some kind of fantasy elements. These giants are big. They're big guys. And it's very good, and I quite liked it. It's black and white with the gray tones and stuff like that, which is pretty much how a lot of indie comics get made. If I were to give, it's really well drawn. If I were to give some constructive criticism, I would have said maybe go a little harder on the backgrounds and some basic things from the narrative art class that I think would really help is compositional elements like you have a lot of the same size figures on the same page, and like one trick you can do to really move that around is to move the figures around, but I think it's really good. So definitely check out theinstallation.com, and maybe you can get your free copy of Sword and Chivalry, or he might even have it for sale at this point. I'm not 100% sure, and I really wish him well. So great job, Dale. That was awesome. Really good. And there's it's got a little bit of everything. It's got a good story. It's got some action. Yeah, very good. Yes, when I say giants, they really are giants. There's the shot of the giants. Very cool. All right. Let's get to Tarzan. All right, so as far as the composition stuff goes, it's a trick that I like to use a lot, which is you got to vary your foreground and midground and all that stuff. This is a compositional trick. You could say I went head, small figure, medium-sized figure, and you'll see that a lot as one of the things that you get dinged on in the Q-Art School class, which is narrative art, which I believe the class is still forming right now. It's $220. It used to be you had to spend a lot of money to actually go to the Q-Art School, and if you're my age, you can't go because you're You're working full time, and you don't have the money. One of the two. I mean, I could probably scrape together enough money, but I'm still working full time. So, um, when they came out with teaching the classes online, I managed to get a lot out of narrative art. But most of those lessons, or the most important of those lessons, you can probably find online on YouTube, which is kind of cool. All right. So, all in all, great job. I need to draw some panel borders, though. So here's page 9. And I need to draw them at a better, sane line weight. All right, let's give it a shot. Line weight is always a concern for me. When I first took inking, my teacher pointed out my line weights and stuff, and he demonstrated, like, for the whole class, like, this is this is not what you should do, you know. And then he says, "Can you see that?" And I said, "I can't unsee it now." Very true. Once my eyes were open to it, it became a big concern. And there's a lot of and they're hard won, little tips and tricks like that. They're hard won because, you know, somebody else had to have made that mistake before you got to it. Another one that I would do, not just the line weights, another problem I would have is compositionally what's called the left-hand stack. And that means when you put, so you notice I have a panel, and then I have a stacked set of panels. Well, on the right, it's okay because you know to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope. Right, because you literally left to right. But if this stack was on the left, you would go 1, 2, 3. Maybe I go down. So if you put your stack on the left, it can cause a problem. And I made that mistake as well. Left-hand stack. That said, there are plenty of people who have made left-hand stacks in comics. I mean, and they handle it different ways. There's all kinds of ways you can subtly fix it, quote unquote, which is like Ditko would use arrows. Like he would actually say, go here or whatever, and then go down. And some people got really subtle and were able to lead the eye by slightly overlapping your speech bubble. Like if I had a speech bubble here and I had it overlapping onto this panel, I would know to go to that panel next because I'd be reading the character, and as each speech bubble would overlap into the next panel, I would just naturally follow it. So that's a very subtle way to fix that problem. Or I'll give you another example. There's even ways to do it that I've seen that involve having the situation be that you could read the panels in any order. Like if you had them, let's say we had 2 rows of 3 panels and we want, you could make it so each panel was something happening simultaneously. And so you could just read up and down or left and right. It doesn't matter at that point. Yesterday I was rereading the very first Guardians of the Galaxy, which is the 1967 Guardians of the Galaxy. The one which pretty much stars Charlie 27, Martin X, and has a bit by Vance. I think they kind of were trying to set Vance Astro as the lead, but really Charlie gets all the good lines and is the real focus for most of the comic. And an interesting thing they did, I think it's Arnold Drake wrote this. The guy who wrote the Doom Patrol. Original Doom Patrol. An interesting thing that they did was they had, there's no grid. The panels are all at crazy angles. I think that it was either an attempt to look futuristic or maybe it was kind of a reflection of Martin X's crystal scales. I also didn't realize that Martin X had these kind of robotic implants. Because I read the 70s Guardians, and they never had that. Okay, well, anyways, look, we did all our panel borders. Let's see. So now we need an ink layer, which I don't have yet. Let's go ahead and make one. Rename. Inky. Let's rename this one too. Panels. Inky and panels. And we'll put Inky above the pencils layer, so maybe we should rename that one too. You can even do it this way. Pencils. Okay. I'm really liking that last minute decision to pump the size of the foreground figure up a lot higher. I was looking at it and I'm like, this is not going to work. Let me get back on the pencil layer for just a second. I'm wondering, I mean, I could do this all in the ink too. I was just wondering where to put the wall behind, or I could put it like halfway. I don't want to put it like halfway overhead. If I put it over here, that's fine. I think I'm going to move it further left where I had it. I think that was a good choice. So let's keep it where it is. All right. Speaking of things you learned in comics class, Kasinki ink. One of those things is always do the foreground first, and with the heaviest line weights that you're going to use. I'm looking at this figure and I'm not 100% sure I'm proud of it. Let's see. I know those look like very thick line weights. But remember, they are in the dark. They're in a dark area. I'm trying to do this collarbone area. And then we have, luckily Tarzan's always shirtless. I don't think I did this right. Let's get his pectoralis. I'm getting Discord spam. Okay. Well, I know to mute that particular one. I'm gearing up to start my next comic. I've been doing a lot of pre-drawing and kind of like design. I need to do a lot of character designs. That's a character design, possibly, for the new comic. These are some character designs for the new comic. I think this is probably not a character design. Look how big I made the head. That was wrong. I do like this helmet, though. I like this small robot head for my hero character. This is Scimitar, or maybe this is Scimitar. I want the idea here is a sort of science fiction-y story that would not look out of place if done with Muppets and Brian Froud, like the Dark Crystal, or Labyrinth. So it'll be that kind of story. Those are my two big influences right now are Dark Crystal and Labyrinth, and it will mix sort of fantastic looking creatures and characters that are unrealistic with more normal human ones. So just like in Labyrinth, you had the or Jennifer Connelly character as Sarah, right? And then you had and Jareth, who was David Bowie, of course. But then you also had like Ludo, and you had the dogs, or Didymus, and you had um, the Hoggle. Hoggle. Okay. And I'm going for a lot of that same mythic look to me, kind of a Sigmund and the Sea Monsters look. I don't know if I got that hand good. Oh my god, that hand is looking bad. All right. If I look at the back of my hands, it kind of does curl in. It works, but not as big as I had it. I was at a wedding this weekend for my older son. Congrats to Noah and Beck. What else is going on here? Shoot. I don't know if that was a good squiggle. I'm a believer in the Kirby squiggle. It is a good thing when your kids grow up and get married and go off on their own. I'm an empty nester now, in case you didn't know. My other son was in town. He'd flown up from Texas to be the best man. He's already the best guy. All right. All right. And where does the thumb go? I guess the thumb can kind of be right here. Let's pull off the pencils and see what it looks like. All right, we went too far. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I haven't thought too hard about the look and feel yet, other than the characters in the new comic. It's definitely going to be black and white. It's just what I like to do. I could do. I mean, I could do watercolor and so on. I've got some watercolor brushes. I've been doing these little watercolor things in my. This is an alternate sketchbook, and these are Caran d'Ache Neocolor watercolor crayons, and they're quite a lot of fun. And they were missing for the last time because I get really I get into a cleaning frenzy sometimes, and of course, things go downstairs, or they got to be put away somewhere, and then I lose track of where I put them. But I think in this case, they were easy enough to find. I just took me a little longer than I thought. Okay. I'm doing pretty good in Spanish class. Although it keeps threatening to. They have this. I don't know if you've ever done Duolingo. They have these different leagues that you get into. And if you don't maintain high enough scores, you can get demoted into a lower league, which I'm down to the Emerald League at this point. I think I was up to Ruby before. Um, but it's really competitive, and it's hard to do really well. And I did my best, you know what it is. All right. Okay, Tarzan. Let's take a look at your pencils again. Cartoon language. I always call it the cartoon language. It's mostly disappeared in modern comics. They don't really use it anymore. Like at one point in comics, it would not be unusual if one character told a joke, the character hearing the joke, the next character would jump out of his shoes, right? That's Snuffy Smith, right? Or Barney Google. And that's cartoon language. And in um, Little Abner or something like that, Dick Tracy, it would not be unusual to see the little sweat drop come out when somebody's under duress, excited, or otherwise engaged. And I kind of want to bring that idea back, or at least I'm going to use it in my comics. As far as what other people do, I could care less. I don't. It doesn't. I don't need to bring it back for everybody. I bring it back for me. All right, let's see if we can get this hair in. My mind is burning. It's got to be a little bit higher. All right. I had this idea that both characters would have a top light, or I could do a side light. We could do the light from this side. And if we did that, it could affect both, like, both characters. So the way to do that with Tarzan, anyhow, make sure you get a nice tapered end on the end of your thing over here. Okay, good, good. And then something didn't work. Oh, this didn't work. All right. Now we can take the pencils out. And there we go. Now I think this is a little weird over here, so we're going to fix this. Okay. The tapers reach towards the light, so even if we wanted to do a shadow layer, and I'm not going to commit to it right now, but let's say we wanted to shadow um, the arm or something like that. We've established that that's the light, right? So we carefully, I hope, we carefully taper the ink going that direction. And you gotta do the whole piece, so it's like... That's an overlap. Oh, shoot. Okay, let's fix that. Hey, Inky. Let's get back in that shadow layer. The other thing that's important to do is wrap the... Like we're wrapping the shadows around the shapes. And yeah, it looks like it's kind of working. Another problem I've got right here, though, is I made some of these outlines. The outline that faces the light should be a thinner outline than the one that faces away. So it's okay to use thicker outlines out here, but this outline should be thinner. Although I think we can get away with this thick outline. Just because the other part of his arm is in front. And keep it all in its own layer. And if it doesn't work out, like if it doesn't look good at the end, you just trash it. Just dump it and come up with another plan. And okay, we know the light's here, so the shadow's here. If the light's here, then I don't usually like to put shadows on the face, but if you know where it's going to go, it's going to be okay. Right? And we're kind of getting there. I'm going to check in with Wind Block soon, see how things are going on the cover. He's mostly interested in drawing the the battle beasts. It's not battle beasts. The beast rangers. They're not battle beasts. That is a rumor. So other characters, for example, Buckshot Wizard, we're going to have to go on the back cover. I've also got the inside covers that I can draw on. Hey, Tarzan's looking good. What do you think? There's some hatching. This arm looks too clean compared to the rest of the arm, so I'm going to make sure that we also add the same method. And then if we wanted to create more shadows, we could crosshatch. But I think we're okay here. All right, that might be enough for today. I'll leave my arrow for right now. We'll take it back out. Okay, let's bring the pencils out so you can see it. There's Tarzan. All right, please like, follow, and subscribe. We got a good hook on page 9. After page 9, I didn't go over the whole page, but after page 9, this story probably wraps up pretty quickly. So it might go to page 10. Might be a denouement page on 11, but I think it might just go to page 10, which is one more page, and then we're going to kick off the new comic. I've got to do some more development. I have a basic idea of the plot. Maybe we can show how, at least how I like to plot comics. There's other different ways to do it. Oh, just thought I'd throw this in there in case Lizello Art is listening. To keep your sketchbook pages open, get a binder clip. Let's see. It'll binder clip in. Binder clip it open. You can get 2 binder clips. Always have a binder clip. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.